Is it morning or is it afternoon? Afternoon, yes. You're testing me, Jesse. Thank you, Mayor Barrett, for being here. Thank you, District Attorney John Chisholm. We also have ASAC's FBI, from the FBI, Bob Bosch and Michelle Sutphin, Alderman Chevy Cavalier Johnson, and Sheriff Lucas. Thank you all for being here. We have Assistant Chief Mike Brunson, Assistant Chief Steve Caballero, and we also have Captain Tom Casper of our Homicide Division that'll be here to give you a few details on what's going on here in the investigation. We are seeking help from the entire nation as we continue our search for Noelani, a beautiful 12-year-old child. We have been working side by side with local, state, and federal partners to find Noelani. The suspect, Noelani's father, is in custody and charged and has provided us with information on Noelani's whereabouts. However, all of it has been proven to be untrue. The suspect is a cold-blooded killer, and our search to find Noelani has become a game to him. And it's obviously apparent that he truly doesn't care about Noelani. The suspect is a textbook definition of what we are confronting in human trafficking. If you are a victim of the suspect's lies and you are in possession of Noelani, now is the time to turn her over to a safe location, whether it's a hospital, police department, a school, or a church. If you release Noelani now and she is not harmed, you will likely not be prosecuted. However, if you continue to hold Noelani in your possession, we will eventually find you and her, and you will be prosecuted to the highest degree of the law. The FBI has offered a $5,000 reward for any information leading to the recovery of Noelani. I have Captain Tom Casper of the Homicide Unit that's here to answer a few questions.
Good afternoon. The last time I stood at the podium, there was a question about what took so long between the time the homicide took place until the Amber Alert was issued. And now that Mr. Higgins is in custody, I'd like to give you some of that information. A team of detectives and supervisors spent about 4.5 hours at the scene, processing evidence, talking to witnesses. The deceased victim did not have any identification on her person, so she had to be fingerprinted at the medical examiner's office. Those fingerprints were then entered into the automated system within the department here. However, she was never arrested, never applied for a bartender's license, no reason for her to be fingerprinted, and we got no hits. We had to start contacting other states and utilize other methods such as social media to try to get her identified. Once she's identified, now we had to try to find next of kin. It would be nice if everybody had something in their wallet telling us who their mother, father, sister, or brother were, but that's not the case. We have to start diving in and researching, and it took time. And the family we found was in the state of Oklahoma. We'd like to notify next of kin as quickly as we can and with as much compassion as we can, so local authorities were sent to notify the family. We then did an interview over the telephone, but imagine being notified that your loved one had just passed away in a violent crime. Now we need to interview you as expeditiously as possible to get information about the deceased child, description, clothing, any photographs. The surviving victim was only able to give us a few utterances in the med unit on the way to the hospital, and she was rushed into surgery and not able to be interviewed for several hours because she was intubated. So in those 3.5 hours, there was a mad scramble to identify this victim, find her family, find out if she really had children, get the names, get photographs, and get all the information necessary to reach the threshold where we could satisfy the requirements needed to have an Amber Alert issued. And that was many department and other entities all working together at a very quick pace.
District Attorney John Chisholm will say a couple words in there.
Thank you, Chief Morales. As you know, it is not our practice to hold press conferences upon issuance of homicide charges or very often on any charges. There's an exception to that, and that exception is any time that we believe that a person's life is at stake or that they're in danger. And it allows us the opportunity to take this moment to simply reach out to the public and beseech them, to ask them to provide any information that they may have related to the individuals involved in this, not so much directly related to the underlying case. That's going to proceed the way it's expected to proceed. Mr. Higgins is presumed innocent until proven guilty. That remains the same. That proceeding will move forward in its usual course. This is our opportunity simply to ask anybody that knows any of the people related to this incident to provide us information. You might not think it's important information, you might not think it's relevant. Please provide it to us and let us determine that. Our only interest here is to locate this little girl and to make sure she's safe and return her to her family. Thank you very much.
As the district attorney said, it's unusual to hold a press conference to talk about a case in the context we're talking about it here. But as the chief noted, this is about the horrible intersection between human trafficking, violence, and a little girl that we need to find. She's a toddler, she's 2 years old, and we're asking people to help us find her. We want Noelani to be safe. We want her to be with people who are going to care for her. And the more people can understand what we're doing, again, as the district attorney said, this is not about the underlying criminal case. This is not about the horrific social issue of human trafficking right now. Right now, this is all about finding Noelani. So please, anything that you can do, any information that you have, please contact our police department. Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this point, we'll take 2 questions and
Has the girl location or custody status prior to Monday been established?
the investigation shows that people had spotted her prior to the incident. I can't give you days or hours prior. We have not seen or followed the whereabouts after the homicide investigation. We're searching. We don't have the exact location because the information in the world that these individuals lived in, they traveled throughout numerous states, and that's why we're asking the nation for help. We're asking the media to help put this information out there. In the Midwest, we can look at Michigan, we can look at Minnesota, we can look at Illinois. But he has ties all the way down to Miami, Florida, and Las Vegas, Nevada, Kansas City, Missouri. He's been all over the place. And the child, which I'm hoping is alive and well, I'm hoping we can find her. And that's what our mission is with this press conference, is that we can locate this child. One more question. Our investigation is, again, I don't want to get into the details of human trafficking, but that's the world that these two individuals lived in, the victim and the suspect. We want to find the child, Noelani. And that's our goal in this press conference, to ask you to help us find this child. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, I don't have that information with you. Tom, you have something detailed, but we don't. We're hoping to find her as soon as possible. The soonest, the better. Thank you.
And the reward is for information leading to her location.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Can I get that afterwards with you? Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.